Oh, so it was. I just figured out that it was. It was pretty much silent. The entire time because I had it
I was
on
kind of wondering why
preview
we were
instead.
just sitting here with no music or anything.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
I I could hear the music, but you guys couldn't. So
Nope.
yeah.
Correct.
So well, we're off. We're
Wait,
off
wait
to a
this shit
hot.
out.
We're off to a hot start here. Just like Bryson got off to a hot start and hit a little bit of a road bump on the back nine, and then Rory, in typical Rory fashion, finds a way to choke it away. Boys, that was for some Sunday entertainment that doesn't involve football. You can't ask for much more on a Sunday in June.
That was about as good as it gets, and then you got the Twins doubleheader on top of it. Yeah, it's been a pretty solid sports Sunday, I'd say.
I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of hoping that they tie, just so we got another
Yep.
18 holes to watch. Like
No, they just changed it. It would have went into a playoff. Yeah, because they were saying on the broadcast it would have been the first aggregate playoff in the U.S. Open.
what
No,
do you
that's stupid.
what does that mean? Like 4 holes or?
I think
Sudden
so.
death.
Or sudden death.
Hmm.
Well,
But-
it might be 3 holes because it really couldn't be 4 because then they could still split it.
Well, I thought it was just total score, Ethan. Like,
Oh, I guess it could be total score. Yeah, it might. Yeah, it's,
yeah, like, hey, after 4, Rory was even and Bryson was -1. Boom, there's your winner. Something like that.
yeah.
I thought.
Okay, so I think I got it here. So it's when players are tied at the end of regular play, they continue playing holes to determine a winner. For example, in the PGA Championship, tied players play 3 holes, and the player with the lowest score wins. Other golf championships that may use aggregate playoffs include the Masters, U.S. Open, and Women's British Open. So it would have just been they would have played 3 holes and whoever had the lowest score would have won. Which, Rory left Pinehurst before I think he left before Bryson even signed his scorecard. So if there was a discrepancy, I wonder what happens. Like since he already left, does that mean he's not able to come back? Like I would have been curious how that is figured out.
I bet you that's
Rocks, you left.
I bet you that's the case. You left the grounds, buddy. Too bad. It doesn't matter. You essentially forfeit the U.S. Open.
Well, that is that would be something that would only happen to Rory.
Well, that's what happens when the Brits come and play in America.
That's right.
What happens when
They
you
find
miss
out.
That is
putt
right.
within 4 feet?
No, I watched that and I almost went limp watching it. Like I couldn't believe that it happened. It was like, did he just Greg Norman that? And then he did it again. And
Hey,
blew a 2-shot lead. He's been so close so many times. I think the last time he was that close was
It was just
British Open back in 22, and that was a case where he actually didn't play too bad. Cameron Smith just played way better and just got hot.
Well, the same thing happened in last year's U.S. Open. I saw the stat a little bit ago on the ticker on ESPN. 1 shot behind, second place in the U.S. Open 2 years in a row.
Well, what was he? 3 over the final 5 holes?
Yeah, he bogeyed 3 of his last 4 holes.
Yeah.
And this was the first time all year he's missed a putt within 3 feet, and he did it on 16 and 18.
You can't tell me he didn't throw it and then just acted like he was pissed.
No, the USA chance got in his head. That's what happened.
No. Hear me out, guys. Him and his wife are actually going to file for divorce, and he couldn't let her get half of the $21 million purse. So he folded. So he missed these last couple shots, so his soon-to-be ex-wife doesn't get his money.
It's kind of like what Pat Riley did with Eric Spoelstra.
100%.
I think we just figured this out.
100%. That's what happened.
I think they're getting back together, though. That's the only thing on that one.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Just like how apparently the Netflix roast broke up Giselle and her jiu-jitsu boyfriend, which I think is just fantastic. Allegedly.
Allegedly. You know, and frankly though, can you blame Rory's wife after missing 2 3-foot putts? You know, it's one thing or another if we do it. Well, actually, we don't miss 3-foot putts because we just pick those up because those are just gimmies.
Oh, those are gimmies, yeah.
Yeah. So technically, Rory, I've never missed a 3-foot putt. Have you guys? Rory has. Rory missed 2 more 3-foot putts than we did today.
Now I'm just gonna make you putt it out going forward.
No, I don't have to. So
I don't have to.
It's all funny. It's all funny games until Ethan misses two in a row, and then he's like,
"Then
nope.
we're going back to gimmies."
Back to the original game.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could or you could do like what Grant does and chunk 3 balls in the water, and then write down that he bogeyed the hole.
Sounds about right.
Or drop it up by where one of us is.
Yeah.
Or just
who hasn't done that?
Or just break 2 heads off drivers in the last 2 years.
Yeah, neither one of his. Yeah.
Yep. Well, one was mine.
Unbelievable.
Technically, it was given to me.
Ah.
So technically, the first one was mine. The second one was totally Ethan's.
Okay.
Well,
Ethan should have had it tighter. He should have known that you haven't swung a club in 2 years and you were rearing to go. So he should have tightened it up a little bit more, knowing that you were ready to just swing out of your shoes. So technically that was, and you had all that pent up aggression, all that anger at the injustice that happened at your expense, Grant. That technically, I think this might be Ethan's fault.
It was also 8 years old, so it might have just been that time.
Well, and then also I turned back and I look at Ethan and I said, did I hit the ground? I was just so petrified that I hit the ground first and I was going to look like a jackass. And he goes, no, it just popped right off.
Like I said, 8 years old.
Yeah. It was like one of those times like freshman year in college, my roommate, he had like this, folding, like one of those half circle chairs. And someone sat in it every single day. And after a while, it just got lower and lower to the ground, and eventually the legs were going to go out, guys. Well, at some point it was going to break, and it didn't matter who was sitting in there. But my ass happened to be in there when it went down. So then, of course, the big fat guy broke the chair. Grant broke the chair
because he's fat.
It wasn't Tiny Caleb or Tiny Troy. I was the one in the chair when it went down, and I could slowly feel the legs spreading, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going down!"
I wish I could have been there to see that. Yeah. But
Dylan, that was so long ago. You were still in high school.
Your freshman year of college, I was still in high school. Correct.
Still in high school.
Yes. Still yet to have my first drink. Then too.
Well, yeah,
that's how long ago that was.
You had to wait until your junior year of college, remember?
Yeah, because you went to Catholic school, obviously.
Yeah, 21. I mean, let's not forget this here.
Mm-hmm. We're joking about this, but that is something that I never did. I never did drink in high school. I was good about that, because I was worried about getting suspended. Why? Because I couldn't sit on the bench. It's not. But
oh my god,
that was hilarious.
So, thank you. You guys are going to be getting all of that in a couple of days. So,
oh my god, that was funny.
Can't wait.
That was like a couple weeks ago. That was like a couple weeks ago. Me, Alec, and some other friends were at this place. We were grabbing dinner one night, and we were kind of joking about what our faces, say when other people see us for the first time. And I joked and I said, well, people must look at me and say he's got a nice personality because he ain't much to look at. And then Alec chimes in and he goes, Jesus Christ, what does my face say? That I'm a fucking schmuck?
I mean, I wouldn't say you're Coyote Ugly, Grant, but I mean,
Yeah.
you do have a good personality.
But
I don't know. Do you even know what Coyote Ugly is?
No, but it can't be good.
It's when you wake up in the morning after a night out and there's somebody else in your bed and you would chew your arm off to get away from her.
Oh, that's bad.
Also a very fun bar to hit up in Ybor City in Tampa if you're ever there. Just a heads up for anybody that is going to be going to Tampa here in the near future. Coyote Ugly.
I think there's one of those in Panama City too, like Coyote Uglies.
There could be
something like that.
Yeah.
I got that from Floribama Shore. Fun fact for you.
And when I was there, of what I remember, there were not a lot of women in there that were Coyote Ugly or ugly in general, for that matter.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but back to Bryson. That was some incredible shot making he made when he had to, because forever that was kind of the knock on him, was that when in those big pressure situations he would be the one to crumble. And then this time he didn't. He on 18, that drive that he had that looked absolutely terrible. And then he was able to then goes and hits it into the sand. And when he hit it into the sand, I felt that, just judging by the way Rory was able to hit his, I was like, I think Bryson's going to have a shot to win it here. And I mean, you can't hit a better shot out of the sand other than it going in. I mean, what a shot by Bryson.
He actually blinked first, which is the craziest thing. He bogeyed a 2-shot lead. What was that? On 15 or 14, Rory had that 2-shot lead, and then he just crumbled.
Yep.
But the long par threes on the back nine, that's where he can't make the putts. But those shots to get him on the green where Rory was scrambling even to get par, and Bryson just had tap-ins every time. Like, it was easy until he got to that last hole. Yeah, like you said, that shot was pretty brutal out of the native stuff that they call it. But there's literally nothing he could do.
With a root?
Yeah,
with a root and a tree.
Yeah, like there's literally nothing you can do. As long as you hit it straight, that's really all you can ask for. But yeah, then the ball is to just drop that within 3 feet and drain it. Like that was freaking impressive.
Well, it's crazy, guys. You see Rory's drive, and you're like, ooh, not good. Second shot, okay, it's not great. And then he gets on. And you see Bryce's drive, and it's like, okay, that's even worse. His second shot is getting worse than this. It's like he's going to fall apart. There's no way he's going to make this. But then when Rory had his crazy third shot, you were like, I think he can do this. With how big that bunker was, it was like, all right, I just got to get this thing in the air, and life is good. And when Bryson needed to make a shot, he made a shot, and he drained the putt. So good for him.
Did it for a fellow SMU alum, Payne Stewart, who won this tournament. It was 25 years ago, is what they said on the broadcast. So that was cool to see. It was also able to win it on Father's Day after his dad passed away a few years ago. So obviously very, very emotional, very special for him. Cool to see. And I don't know if we have seen a bigger turnaround of like a person who is mostly like extremely disliked to just somehow turning a corner and to be like, yeah, I actually like this guy. A couple of weeks back, you saw him at the PGA Championship where he threw a ball to a kid and some adult took it from the kid and he chased him down and told him to give the ball back. And then seeing him on his, he had that phase right out of COVID where he was extremely douchey and where he said he had like the 9 protein shakes a day and it was like, stop. And he made the comment at the Masters to miss and ended up missing the cut. Now it's, when you see him on TV, part of me can't help but root for the guy.
Well, he's completely changed how he plays golf. Like, yes, he can still drive it damn near 400 yards if he wants to, but just his chipping, his putting, like it has all gotten so much better. He's not even the same human he was even 2 years ago when he won the U.S. Open. Like, it's been so impressive to see his turnaround. Even being on the live, like he might not get the best courses, the best competition each time, but he's been the most consistent live golfer at the majors so far this year.
Yep. Yeah, because Koepka didn't have a good round, but
Koepka really hasn't done a whole lot since he won his last major, I feel. It kind of just seems like he's been just imploding, or he's missed the cut. It seems like most majors.
He's had some good master. He was hung around at the Masters for a while. He was there on Sunday, and then the PGA he struggled. But yeah, there's only one major.
Bryson is really the only one that's contended at any major this year for live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he has, because Rahm hasn't done anything. And I can't even think of half of Phil. You don't hear anything from Phil.
No.
So
Cam Smith?
Cam Smith even hasn't really done much either.
No, he hasn't done a whole lot.
That's because and Dustin Johnson, I mean, he's completely fallen off since he's joined Liv.
He got the money and he was like, I'm good with life.
I mean, can you blame him though? I mean,
yeah.
He's got Paulina. No. He's got Paulina. He still can go hang with his boys and still shoot like 4 under and be happy with it. He's got the bag, hot wife, nice house, nice cars. I think he's doing okay, but just the golf game has fallen off. But
that's just a minor price to pay for the life that he has.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I think I'd pay that same minor price.
Yeah.
As long as he makes the cut, he still makes more than any of us in one weekend. So
true. Which I don't think he did this weekend.
I don't think so. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, he's still doing better than we are. So joke's on us.
Yep.
Correct. But then let's shift over the some unfortunate news that came out last week after we recorded is that legend NBA, the logo, Jerry West, passed away at 86. Does not want to see the Celtics win another championship. An all-time talent for sure. He only won the one title. Always ended up getting beat by Boston, losing to Bill Russell. What he didn't win as a player, he made up for. He is the greatest executive of all time. He got Shaq to LA, he drafted Kobe, convinced KD to come to the Warriors, said that they should told the Warriors to choose Klay Thompson over Monte Ellis, which at the time Monte Ellis was I want to say he was a borderline all-star at the time. It was regarded as one of the better players. It was the best player for the Warriors at the time too, because Steph was still fairly young, and said that to move off Monte, go with Klay.
Was it one of those where he thought Klay and Monte were too close in skill set, and they needed to break it up a little bit?
I think the difference is that Klay was a better defender and Monte wasn't. So I think that's what went into that decision. But the all time he had it sounds like he had a very rough upbringing, a very abusive father. He was a very nervous person, which if you guys have seen Winning Time yet, the portrayal of him is he comes off as very over the top, very quick fuse, freaks out instantly. I think Jerry, he actually sued them for the way he was portrayed, which is exactly what the character Jerry West would do if somebody portrayed him in a bad way. But he was nicknamed Mr. Clutch, but he's all time. Enjoyed listening to him when he was on the Herd. Just one of those people that you wanted to be around. I asked you guys, did you guys get a response in time from your dads about if they remember anything from Jerry, what they remember of Jerry West, since we were not alive when he was playing.
No, I was too busy meal prepping on the grill tonight, so I did not get a chance.
That's just a piss poor excuse.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
It's gonna be good chicken. That's what matters.
Yeah, it's nervous bird. Too much estrogen in it. You need to eat real beef.
Too much estrogen in it. That's the first
Yep.
time I've ever heard of that before.
You've got to do your research. Yep.
Research.
What are you going to be getting? You going to be getting manicures next week too sometime, Ethan?
No, I just like grilled chicken.
Oh.
Can't have a steak every day.
Why?
It's too expensive.
Yeah.
Too expensive in Minnesota.
Oh, no.
Too much red meat.
No such thing as too much red meat.
No, I'm with Ethan. I just straight up forgot to text my dad about that, but I met up with him earlier this week.
Boo.
And he did not know that he was actually the portrait of the NBA logo.
Really?
That was a fun fact that Daryl learned this week. He goes, "Oh, that's who that player was supposed to represent." I said, "Yeah." So there you go. And I guess he told me that he was the first. I didn't know this, but he was the only player. I think the only player in finals history to be named MVP on the losing team for the series.
Correct. Yes, he was.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was like the 69 finals, if I'm correct in that. I don't have it off the top of my head, but my dad just texted me it. So, he said that he remembers reading him in sports books and magazines, and he I don't know if they won it or not. It would have been 72 if that was the one, but he remembers staying home instead of going to the movies to watch Game 7 of the finals that he was in. Said that he was probably the best all-around white player back then until Larry Bird came in the league. And he remembers liking his smooth jump shot.
Did you ask your dad how much a movie ticket was back then?
I can. He wouldn't remember.
Oh, I bet he will.
I bet you stuff like that you would, like, especially, if it was like, $1.50 or whatever. You know how people are like, oh, I started driving, gas was 78 cents a gallon. Stuff like, I don't think people are going to forget.
Was a nickel.
Correct.
I remember watching the Founder, and originally a McDonald's hamburger was 15 cents.
God, that just breaks your heart now thinking about that.
And last year we saved 11 cents at our 4th of July barbecue from last year under Joe Biden's economy, according to them. So, you know what? We're winning. I mean, we're basically back living in the 70s prices.
Well, yeah, 11 cents is 11 cents, my man. So that is a win.
That's some high V savings right there.
Holy shit.
Grant's not gay, but $20 is $20.
$20 is $20. What can I say? It's expensive to live these days, man.
Oh, but R.I.P. Jerry West. And then, we talked about how we didn't want to see the Celtics win another NBA Finals, and he got his wish. I don't know if the Mavs were playing for Jerry West on Friday, but they did their best to honor him because they won by 38, which is the third highest point differential in NBA Finals history. And the big difference
when the Celtics beat the Lakers, was that up there, like that 08 title? Because I remember they destroyed them in that closeout game.
Yes, and I believe it would have been game 3 or 4 of the 98 finals with Jordan against the Jazz. It was like a 98-54 game because I don't know if you guys remember in The Last Dance when Jerry Sloan came up to do his press conference and he's looking at the stat sheet and he goes, "This was the final score of the game?"
I remember something like that. Yes.
So I don't know what the other two. I want to say. Well, there was I think one of the Celtics Lakers NBA Finals in the '80s, because I think there was one. It was like the Memorial Day Massacre where Boston won by like 4, something like that, and everybody was saying Kareem was done and washed up. And the Lakers actually went on to win that series, but Luka. The big one is that Luka stopped complaining, and the Mavs won by 38 with Luka going 0 of 8 from the 3-point line on Friday. Which, if you would have said he would have gone 0 for 8, you would have probably thought the Celtics
gonna get the win.
Uh-huh.
Well, Dylan, it's funny you mentioned Luka stopped complaining. I kind of got the vibe from watching that Wolves series when they were the only game on that night. The amount of bitching and moaning that he did that whole series, and how the referees kind of gave in to him, and how everyone saw it and everyone saw how excessive it was. I think these first 3 games in the series, they were like, you're not going to get your way anymore. And they kind of had to teach him a lesson like, this isn't going to fly, kid. Like, you got to stop this complaining, because it truly is too much for the league to have. He's a great player, but when you're complaining every single possession down the court and you're flopping the way that he's flopping, it's bad basketball and people aren't going to watch it. So I think these referees in the finals took matters in their own hands, and they said, hey, take a seat, little boy. You can't complain like this.
Did you see Brian Windhorst going scorched earth on him after Game 3?
I did.
How great was
Holy
that?
Smokes! That seemed personal.
That was that one was like, wow. I did not expect that from Windhorst. And you know what? Applaud him, because we don't see that in today. I mean, especially on the 4-letter network either, is because everybody. I mean, this like the weird obsession that they do with Stephen A. Smith of him walking into the finals like he's playing a game is.
Yeah, it's true. Walks on the floor and everything.
It's just weird. Like nobody is coming to watch you talk. Like, the more you listen to Stephen A. Smith, you realize that he really isn't that talented. And if you've been following Jason Whitlock, he's been kind of exposing him about all the lies that he tells, or that he's been telling throughout the years. But the I feel like this was what the 2017 finals, where the first championship that KD won with the Warriors, where Cleveland won Game 4, and this feels like it's going to be a gentleman's sweep here. And Boston just wanted to win it at home. I think they realized early on in this game that they weren't going to win, so they just decided to pack it up. Let's get out of here, and let's go back to Boston and win in front of the home crowd.
So hear me out, guys. I'm not saying this is a conspiracy theory that Boston lost on purpose the other night, or it's just a giant coincidence, but hear me out, okay? So Monday, will be June 17th, 617. The Boston Celtics, they won their last championship in 2008. That day was June 17th. Again, tomorrow, June 17th. What's the area code for the Boston, Massachusetts phone numbers? 617.
That's pretty weird.
Oh.
So this is some giant zodiac sign thing going that the Celtics have, where they just have to win this championship on June 17th.
Wow. That is, you know what else happened on June 17th about, about 30 years ago?
I have no idea.
No,
What,
there
was it OJ?
There was an incredible race. It was the Bronco chase. Yes,
let's go. Hey, you know what? As a memorial, we should shut down the 405 and the Interstate 5 Interstate Los Angeles tomorrow.
30 years ago. That's crazy to think. Also, look at Ethan running there.
Go outside.
He must. I think he had to go poop.
Oh, good for him.
Oh, that was quick. Or he just spilled something.
No, I grabbed something to show you something later.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Sure, yeah.
But
You said
that's also,
OJ. You said OJ, and he thought of something. Should we be worried for someone's health and safety in that house?
Hannah's not dead yet.
Key word.
There's
Hey, Hannah's alive.
we don't know because all we're seeing ahead, for all we know, is maybe Ethan trained Boone. Oh, there she is. Okay,
There
she's
she
still alive.
is.
All right.
Could be fake. I see Mr. Boone.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah. I was gonna say, for all we know, maybe Ethan trained Boone to just raise her hand up when we mentioned when this happened to get brought up.
Mr. Boone? Nope, he's tired.
No, he's like, no. I've had too much TV time. I'm good. It's also my aunt's birthday, and that's how I remember her birthday is that's the same day as the OJ chase.
Oh yeah.
She didn't. I told her that today. I saw her today, and I asked her, "Is that bad that's how I remember your birthday?" And she said, "Yeah." It's like, oh shit. Well, I guess I'm a shitty nephew.
What is she talking about? A man who won a Heisman Trophy, had a great acting career, and was found innocent by a jury of his peers.
That's right. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
The justice system clearly worked in that instance because that's how it was meant to be. And you know what? It's all Marsha Clark's fault. She decided to have a downtown trial. This is all on her.
Actually, it's Gil Garcetti, the lead district attorney, whose son is now the mayor. I don't know if he still is or not, but the same guy that said that his son is this guy that said that forced everybody in LA to wear masks all the time, except he wasn't. And then when he said that when he's around people, he just holds his breath. So there's no possible way of getting transmission.
Oh, man, that family has been screwing Los Angeles since 1994.
Probably longer.
Probably longer, yeah. Who are we kidding?
So,
And you know what's funny? They work in Los Angeles, but they probably live in like Malibu or some different county there in Southern California where they reap the benefits of the policy. They don't have to live by the policies that they enforce.
They sit down and throw trash on the rest of the peasants of LA. That's what they do.
That is correct.
But
they look down at almost Hollywood.
But that was also the same day that my mom found out that she was pregnant with me. Fun fact, I found out a few years ago. Yeah.
The more you know.
So, that is that to them, to our parents though, that is like a 9/11 moment of, everybody remembers where they were watching that happen.
Oh yeah.
That was
a never forget moment.
So I'm trying to think of other things that for us it was like a never forget moment, which I can think of two off the top of my head, and they're both related. Is the obviously 9/11, and then the other one is when Bin Laden was killed. Those two are the two big ones.
I know Bin Laden was on a Sunday night. I remember that.
That was on a Sunday night. I remember watching. They did like a 30 for 30 short on it, where it was Phil. The only time Mets and Phillies fans got along.
Correct.
Jeez. Another one is 35W Bridge, at least for Minnesotans.
Oh yes, yeah. I do remember that too, because I remember I was out with my buddies, and I remember I got home because we were actually leaving for Minnesota that next day, and I'll remember the Twins were playing the Indians. We were going to the game on Sunday. The Twins were playing the Indians, and Scott Baker pitched a 1-0 shutout, 8-inning shutout, and then Nathan came in and closed the game.
I know another one I'll never forget. It's very somber, but the Sandy Hook shooting, because actually, guys, that was end of first semester of freshman year of college. I'm in the dorms. I was on my laptop, and I open up Google or MSN.com, whatever it was, and I see that, and I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me! And I was waiting for my mom and sister to come pick me up because I didn't have a car. So they picked me up. We went to a restaurant in North Fargo, and I told them, I said, hey, guys, did you hear what happened in Connecticut? And they were like, no. I was like, oh, well, you're not gonna like this. They're like, what do you mean, Grant? I said, well, guys, there was a mass shooting out at elementary school and like 26 kids were killed. I just remember seeing my mom's face go white, and she was like, are you kidding me? I said, no, this literally just happened today. So like I said, it's a sad moment, but one I'll never forget.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, because that same day, NDSU played Georgia Southern on ESPN. That was the first time they were on national TV on a Friday. To go to Frisco for the second time. That was the Brock Jensen run.
Was that when they blocked the field goal?
Yes. Yep. So that, and I think those are probably our remember where we were memories, but
another. I know, unfortunately, this one also involves death, but Kobe Bryant's passing.
Yeah.
Oh, good call. Yep. I remember that one too because, and it was, it was a big one when somebody that isn't a huge sports fan texts you. Like my sister, I mean, she wasn't a huge basketball fan, but that's how I found out is her texting me a screenshot that Kobe Bryant was killed in a helicopter crash, and it was what? And then everything coming out, like his daughter passed away, and then there were 8 other people that were killed. It was just and it was the Sunday before this. It was the weekend between the Super Bowl.
Well, they had the Pro Bowl that day in Orlando.
Yep, and I remember and then I remember that night all the games. They would start with an 8:24 where whoever won the tip would take an 8-second violation, and then the other team would go and let the shot clock run out as a tribute to Kobe. And then I remember that week because it was a Super Bowl. It was supposed to be an exciting week, and every show that you listened to started off talking about the passing of Kobe Bryant and his legacy. Mm-hmm. And I remember listening to Cowherd, and right as he finished it, he started breaking down into tears. Something that you don't see a lot on really any TV show at all.
No,
is somebody like that and just breaking down. But
at that time, Dylan, that was when Speak for Yourself was actually worth watching.
Yes.
Formerly known as Speak for Yourself. And they were at the Super Bowl, and it was Whitlock, Marcellus, Wiley, and then some other football people. And all 4 on the panel, they couldn't get through their, opening lines or comments without breaking down and, being in tears after Kobe's passing.
Yeah, because I remember that too, because I remember Whitlock talking about how Kobe was obviously retired a couple of years, 4 years before that. And I guess you could also remember that as one of your top moments, or remember where you were moments is Kobe's last game for the Lakers when he scored 60. And where we were all sitting in the dorm. I think it was like probably the one time in our lives we were all cheering for the Lakers because it was cool to see Kobe go that way, shooting and then hitting the go ahead shots, hitting the game clinching free throws. But Whitlock talked about Kobe. He was very active, especially he was coaching his daughter's AAU team, and talked about how he was still very involved in the game of basketball, and how his post-playing career, he was gonna be just as successful as what his playing career was. So enough of the sad moments here. Let's keep going. So as we said earlier this week, for the first time in 2 years, we're all going to be together. We've got I'll be flying in Thursday morning. We're going to be going to the Twins game on Thursday afternoon. I'm thinking, I was talking to Grant about this, Ethan. Yeah. We're going to do a food review at the ballpark. We each pick a different item and we score it. So we do we can actually say that we've actually all done some content in one place together.
That's fair.
As we do that, and then Friday we're play some golf, and then go that Friday night. We're going to be going to the Morgan Wallen concert at US Bank Stadium, which is going to be a tremendous time. We saw him 2 years ago when he opened up for Eric Church. Now he is the headliner. So got a couple of questions here for you guys. You've seen it on TikTok online, when he's been doing these stadium tours, him walking out with people. When he was at Kyle Field, he walked out with Johnny Manziel. When he was at Lucas Oil, he walked out with Pat McAfee and Tyrese Halliburton. Who do you guys think Minnesota themed will Morgan Wallen be walking out with to Broadway girls?
I would certainly hope it's JJ and Anthony Edwards.
That's who I had.
Yeah.
As well.
Maybe like a Chad Greenway.
Ooh.
That's an interesting one. It'd be kind of fun to bring AP back into town.
Yeah. Joe Mauer, as much as I love him, I don't think he fits.
No, he's not that guy. You're not that guy, pal.
He's too white.
Yeah, he's not that guy.
Ken Herbeck.
Again,
I can see Ken Herbeck. Yeah, I can see Ken Herbeck being the guy.
But yeah, dude, Ethan, I'm with you. I think Jed is the guy to be the guy, because I feel like JJ would want to hang out with Morgan outside, like at a venue or anywhere else like that. Morgan, he's just got that thing where the brothers just love hanging out with him. So I could see JJ. I kind of hope it is JJ. That'd be sweet.
That would be.
Or, I also had a Justin Jefferson and Randy Moss. That would be pretty sweet.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Or I'm with you, Ethan. I said Justin Jefferson and Anthony Edwards. Or you could also see Justin Jefferson and JJ McCarthy, the new quarterback in town. I think that would be there might be a possibility.
Call me crazy.
Or Paul Allen.
I'd be on. Paul Allen's funny. I'd be on board for some Naz Reid guys.
They'd be towering over the guy.
You would be.
Some 6'11".
They'd have to use like one of those ladders and just start going back to just so they're at the same height.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think JJ would be the guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Dylan,
and then what
shirt I'm wearing? I changed it.
You changed it.
My shirt that I'm wearing to the concert here. So nice Ford, right?
Okay.
But he drives a Chevrolet.
That is awesome. I love it.
Found it at Old Navy yesterday.
I like it. That is sweet. So I was also thinking is what else we should do, guys? Is before the concert we should do a Montana Boys themed lip syncing for a Morgan Wallen song.
I don't think that's a good idea.
What kind of content do those Montana Boys post? I don't even know what they post.
I mean, well, they're in a lot better shape than us, so I mean, I think we'd get the same amount of views. I mean, two 30-year-olds and an almost 30-year-old with dad bods, lip syncing. I think that gets just as many views, and three guys with dad bods and shitty webcams. That's another podcast name I just came up with on the fly here.
That totally is.
So, which when we're off here, I do have a story to tell you guys that about this weekend. But before we go to Curveball here, is what do you guys think the first song he plays is gonna be? And it can't be Broadway Girls because that's the one he walks out to, obviously.
I'll say Last Night.
Last Night, okay.
At Stapleton this year, I nailed it. I said he'd play White Horse right away. Now I thought I was crazy. Joke's on him. I'll say Think About Me.
That was my other
Think About Me?
Going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Ain't That Some. So that's what I'm going to go with. So Thinking About Me. And then What was the other one? Oh,
Ethan
last
said
night and
last
ain't that
night.
some? So we'll see. We'll see what's right and see who's right here, and we'll point at the other two losers at the next episode here. But let's before we wrap up the show here, let's get to Curveball of the Week here, and it is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you guys enjoyed, had a good day spending it with your families, grilling. I got to spend it golfing with him, golfing very horribly with my dad. You know, didn't golf. Neither have I golfed very well, but the company was good, so you can't complain. And then got to go home and barbecue, have some cheeseburgers, and baby Luna, Ethan, Zahara says hi, Ethan, whoever that is on YouTube. So
cool.
shout out to baby Luna and Zahara.
Sure.
But Curveball of the Week is, what is something that your dad has taught you guys that you still carry with you today? And let's have a little bit of fun. But what is the most dad thing your dad does?
That's tough. Well, the second one's easy. Grilling when it's like either just snowing in swimming trunks or something like that. Like I've shown you guys that picture. How many times.
Classic Craig move.
It's never going to stop. It's always going to be out there. Gosh, the other one. I don't know, man. That's tough.
I think so. I'll also kind of go with the second one here, just with the sheer speed that my dad has the ability to take a nap. Or like if he's sitting on a couch or a chair, like he'll look at me and he'll just be like, "Hey, Graham, I'm just gonna close my eyes, here, and maybe doze off for a little bit." And I kid you guys that not 5 seconds later, I look over and here's the man.
That sound too?
Like maybe not quite that loud, but it just the sheer speed that is impressive that man can fall asleep in. Like,
oh yeah,
my
dad's the same way.
I've been known to dabble and take a nap here and there, but just not. I cannot go out as fast as that man can. It's incredible.
Yeah. My dad would also be in that boat, but the one thing that since you guys already hit it, my dad's not a huge griller, but the ability that he has to never remember who anybody is.
Or are you talking like name or just in general?
Name in general or faces. Like, yeah, I was hanging out with Grant the other day. Who? Grant. Who? Grant. Wait, who's Grant? It's like my roommate. Oh, or just can't remember, can't hear, can't see anything. But it's funny because he can never, like, especially if it's like newer. Like, he knows most of my friends because I grew up with each other. But like, especially if I meet new ones, it takes him a while. Or this was a couple of weeks ago, or this is a couple of months ago now. But he was biking in the morning at the gym, and one of my buddies goes and says hi to him. Met him at Cody's wedding. Had no idea who he was. He's like, I've seen him before, but I don't know who he was. And I was like,
That's awesome. I figured out the first one. It's like you don't really read the instructions before doing something, for example, and then you just go do it. Hannah yells at me for this all the time. I just dive right into it. She will vouch for it right now. She'll probably go yell at me for something later tonight that I just go do. And my dad's the same way. Every time I do it, it's you're just like your dad, and just like, and it's true. It's 100% true.
That yeah. Well, my dad he's pretty good. Except another good thing he does is just completely botching like names or titles of things. And I'm fully convinced that parents, when they get to a certain age, they're just doing it to troll us, is completely mispronouncing something. Yeah. But like My dad, if we're putting something together, he doesn't refer to them as instructions. He calls them destructions.
Destructions.
Just I think that's his dad. It's a dad joke for him.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that he always taught me is, to never, I remember this was 5 or 6 years ago. I was having a rough go of it at work, and I was terrible. I wanted to quit. It was just feeling bad, down on myself. And he talked about how one day when he was first starting is that somebody asked him, he's like, why are you're always in such a good mood? How are you like this? And he just said that, God granted me the ability to wake up, and, it's not a good way of going through life of, being negative. And, if you're able to exuberate positive energy onto people, maybe that'll help them get out of the funk that they're going through. When things happen, is to just take it in stride. Try to keep a level head, a steady head, and just try to keep going, because in the end, you're always going to find a way to overcome it and get through it and go on to the next thing. So just trying to, staying calm, keeping a positive attitude throughout. I think that's something that, that my dad has always been good about exuberating through, and, very, very calm and mild mannered, except for when he smokes his head onto something or he's on the golf course.
Or when he stubs his toe.
Yeah. Or when he stubs his toe.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. When you hit the coffee table.
Yeah. But just to stay calm, you're going to get through it. I think that's one of the biggest things he's taught me.
Well, yeah, you just enjoy the day.
Enjoy the day. That's a good way of looking at it.
That's all you can do.
So, Grant, you're up.
Yeah, I think kind of one thing that, my dad always told me, his motto when he was working, he's now retired now, is he goes, Grant, hey, I'm going to complain less than everyone else, and I'm going to work harder. And, that resonated with me now, because after he retired, everyone was talking about how much they loved working with him and how much they respected him. Like, I've never met one person who's worked with my dad who had a bad thing to say about him as an employee, because he didn't have that bad energy. He wasn't complaining all the time. And, if he had some gripes, yeah, he might say some gripes at home to my mom in a private conversation, and other coworkers, but he was never going to bring the room down. He was never an energy vampire. And, no one was going to go in and outwork that man. And, if you do that, and if you come to work and you put your feelings to the side, like, yeah, sure, there's some shitty things about it and we don't like doing it, but you don't let other people see that, and you just you work your tail off and you do the best you can, people are going to respect you and they're going to want to work with you. So that would probably be the biggest thing for me.
All right. Well, this is a good episode here. Ethan said he had to be done at 9. It is 8:57, so we are ahead of schedule. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. We will be back at some point next week, either Monday or Wednesday, depending on what the schedules hold. But we'll be recapping the Morgan Wallen concert, we'll have an NBA Finals champion by then. So until next time, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week.